Oh, yeah, they were all infill houses, yeah.
This kind of closed it. No. Out first.
Oh, yeah, always.
Okay. I'll bring this Board of Zoning Appeals meeting on April 2nd, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. Claire, would you read the roll, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
David Cash,
Here.
Stephen Wanamaker,
Here.
Gary Gross,
Here,
Tom Evans,
Here.
AJ Mentel, and Jerry Heidenreich.
Present.
Thank you. If you would all join me in a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right. Has the board had a chance to review the minutes of the March 5th meeting? Any corrections, changes? All right, I have a motion to accept as presented.
so move.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Cash,
Yes.
Mr. Wanamaker,
Yes.
Mr. Gross,
Yes,
Mr. Evans,
Yes.
Mr. Mentel, and Mr. Heidenreich.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Before we move on to the first case, as soon as I find it, there it is. Ms. Fetters, if you would be stand and be sworn. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Okay. The first case, first and only case for the evening is case not use variance case 9-25. This is a request by applicant Gifted by Goss LLP for a use variance for the property at 1209 North University Boulevard to allow for an assembly hall and conference center. The property is zoned O1 Office District. The variance requested is to allow for the assembly hall and conference center use type in the O1 zoning district, a prohibited use according to table 1204-3 of the Middletown Development Code. Ms. Fetters, will you give us your staff analysis, please?
Yes. So per the application submitted, the applicant believes a unique hardship exists in relation to the property that impairs the site's conformance with the current zoning. The applicant asserts the current zoning does not align with the practical needs of an event center. The purpose of the O1 office district is to provide for areas of general office and non-retail commercial uses that support community needs within a small scale of developments. This district may also serve as a land use transition between residential areas or uses and higher intensity uses such as commercial uses and high volume streets. Like Mr. Cash was alluding to, table 1204-3, principally permitted uses, the assembly hall and conference center facility use type within the tourism use category is considered a prohibited use within the O1 zoning district. The definition of an assembly hall or conference center is defined as a facility or building available for lease by private parties that may include kitchen facilities for the preparation or catering of food, the sale of alcoholic beverages for on-premises consumption during scheduled events that are not open to the public, and or outdoor gardens, decks, or reception facilities. Per the Middletown Development Code, the requirement for legal notice for the variance request and has been sent to all property owners contiguous and directly across the street or public right-of-way, and was also posted in the Journal News for at least 10 days. 2 public comments have been received to date. One surrounding property owner expressed concerns of the parking availability on the site, should it be used for an assembly hall or conference center. However, they remain neutral in their opinion of the variance. And then the second comment from the current property owner was included in your staff packet and is displayed on the screen. And on the screen is the variance application submitted by the applicant. Here is table 1204-3. Here's the property in question. Bit of a larger scale. And here is your use variance review criteria, and that will conclude my staff report.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Fetters?
Actually, could you go back to the larger pullback map? Thank you. Thank you.
For any additional property background.
Oh, no, I
on
was
this.
just, no, I just wanted to look, just to get my bearings, I'm sorry. No.
In 2013, there was a use adjustment approved for this property through the Planning Commission. I think that a use adjustment back in 2013 is similar to a use variance that is now overseen by the BZA. The use adjustment case was for a restaurant, essentially using it as a dining hall for, I think, international students that were going to Miami University Middletown campus. However, since that, even if the applicant were to be proposing to use that property for that property has not been in use for several years. So that use adjustment has been null and void for a while now.
Now, has the zoning of that particular area changed over the last, say, 20 years? Do you know? Is there a way to know?
I did not look into that. Our last big update of our zoning code was in 2018. I don't know how big,
This would have been.
how much that impacted the
This would
zoning
have been early
map.
2000s.
Yeah. This was built in 1967 for reference.
Right.
I think originally that might have been a P2 under the old zoning code.
I
Professional.
think you are correct with that.
Yeah, and then that was renamed.
Because the variance you guys heard not too long ago was in a P1 or P2.
At some point in time, back, and again, I can't place the date, that was a reception hall. Stefano's owned it.
Stefano's Holiday.
I heard that.
Yeah.
That's why I was wondering if there was a zoning change at some point in time.
Any other questions? Okay, well, I'll open the meeting up to the public. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of the application for the use variance, please step forward to be sworn. Anyone in favor? Ma'am, do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. And if you'd identify yourself, please.
So I am Antria Goss for Gifted by Goss. So we are looking to purchase the building to use it as the event center. And I mean, everything that's stated before, that it was previously used as the event center. They were gathered before as a dining hall. And we think it would be a perfect space and a wonderful addition to the community. So like weddings, banquets, graduation parties, bridal showers, things in that nature.
Do you feel that the parking is sufficient to support the amount of people that would be coming to these events?
We do, and we would keep it to the size that the space accommodates.
Ma'am, what is the occupancy maximum for that hall, do you know? Have you been in there?
I have been in there, but I do not know
Okay.
the occupancy. It wasn't like displayed on the wall.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been in operation for several years, as Ms. Fetters was just saying. So didn't know if you were aware, or if the city, I don't know quite how that's judged. I'm assuming it's by square footage, but I get that just a, okay, all right. Do you currently operate an event center anywhere?
We don't currently operate an event center, but we do other events mainly through our church banquets and things like that.
You organize them?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
I assume hours of operation would be standard and usually done by not too late. And
Right.
I guess whatever permitting would be required for operating the business, I guess you had to follow that.
Yep.
Is there a full kitchen in that building?
There is a full kitchen, yes.
And do you intend on using that kitchen for preparation of food or?
Preparation for caterers, things like that, yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor, please step forward, sir. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Identify yourself, sir.
Thank you. My name is Jeff Forbes. I'm a partner with the law firm of Wood and Lamping, 600 Vine Street, Suite 2500, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45202. And I'm here tonight on behalf of the current owner, Quest Holdings International. Primarily, we're here just to, again, to express our support in the variance being requested. If we can answer any questions, we're happy to do that. I will point out, not that this is entirely, critical to this, but our understanding is it is currently being used for the dining hall operation that the prior use adjustment was granted for some years ago. So it's not completely not used right now.
Okay.
But we are very excited about the opportunity of this new use, and we just wanted to be here to express that. Also, for what it's worth, I know part of your staff report mentioned a concern about parking. From our perspective, we don't see that as an issue, and obviously, if the variance is granted and they are able to proceed with this, I'm sure your development code has requirements about whatever minimum parking would be, and they, of course, would do what they need to do to comply with that.
I got a couple questions.
Sure.
So basically, you're renting this facility to these people for the church? Or
No, I mean, we currently own it, and as I understand, are continuing to operate it as the dining hall. There's a purchase contract where they would like to buy the property from us. So they're not using it yet. They're not using it right now. But they would like to purchase it, but obviously they don't want to complete the purchase unless they are able to use it for what they intend to. And we're very supportive of that.
Did you say you represent the owner?
I'm the attorney here on behalf of the
On
owner.
behalf of the owner?
Yes.
And the owner, I don't know if that's on the application.
So it's Quest International
Okay.
Quest Holding International is that you will see probably in your packet, you did get a letter from Dr. Wu expressing their support for the variance. We just thought it would be helpful if somebody could appear tonight in case there were questions and to address any of the specifics.
Well, as attorney for so Ms. Wu, is it Dr. Wu?
Dr. Wu.
Dr. Wu. Is she aware the property is currently being operated, or who's aware that, because staff seems to think that, and I'm not sure, I haven't been back in there, I know exactly where the property is.
Certainly.
But that seems to be some inconsistency between what's the city's impression of its current use
Sure.
versus
And
what you've indicated.
The only thing that I'm aware of is that it is still in use. In fact, part of the agreement that we have with the prospective buyer is being able to, there's some lease provisions for the kitchen during an interim period. For what it's worth, and Chris Henkeline is the broker that's representing the owner on this, and if there are questions that he may be better suited to answer, he's here and available to do that.
I guess I was just curious because if it's currently being operated and I guess under the current use
Right.
variance, which was granted back
2013, I think.
Yeah, when Ms. Feder-
Right, and so that's my point is, I'm not saying that carries the day, I just want to be clear.
all right. Want to clear it up.
We agree, though, that even if it were being used, what's being proposed is slightly different from that, so it would make sense that they would be here for a variance. Although we would stress that really, when you look at what's being proposed, it's not completely unlike what was already approved there, and potentially maybe what what it was many years ago. So again, we're just here to support it in any way we can. I'm happy. I know you have criteria that you try to address through these. I'm happy to address any of that if you would find it helpful. I mean, most of it is pretty. Most of it's pretty common sense. Clearly, it is a use that's permitted in other districts. It is on your chart. The property isn't really much value unless it can be something like this. So, again,
I have a couple of questions.
sure, I'll try.
Well, because what Mr. Cash just raised, I am wondering, are there permits necessary for serving food and keeping the building current? I don't know, maybe fire codes or whatever they got?
So I'm not here on behalf of the buyer, so I can't speak to that exactly. But what I can tell you is, even if it's stopped being used as the dining hall, it would have passed all of those permits that are necessary to serve food. They will, of course, as a new operator, will have to deal with the health department and do anything necessary like that. And again, the kitchen is there. It's been in use for a number of years. They desire to continue to use it. Anything that's been approved before, unless something drastically has changed, it shouldn't be any issue being able to deal with codes or permits.
Any other questions for Mr. Forbes? Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And identify yourself, if you would, sir.
Yes, hi, my name is Chris Henkeline. I'm the listing agent for the property right now. So something that I can speak into is that I just got done brokering the sale of 3711, 3715. It was an apartment complex where all the kids are staying. So the property manager at that site goes over to the Holiday House, which is the property that we're talking about, and prepares food for the kids. I don't know how frequent that is, but I know that that's happening. Also, that's why when we develop the purchase agreement, we have a lease into the purchase agreement that they can do so until the end of June, which is when the kids will be done with school, and they will completely then vacate the apartment complex over on Roosevelt, and then also be out of the Holiday House as well.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Hope that had some clarity. Yeah.
Yeah, I had one question. It mentioned in here that there would be alcohol served at times, like, I guess, receptions, whatever. Have they started the process to get a liquor permit for that location?
That would be for the current applicants. As far as I know, Quest has not used it to serve alcohol. They've just used it to actually serve their students for food. That would be something that I think the owners could speak, or the applicants could speak into.
Hold on, ma'am. I'll give you a chance. Thanks.
Yeah.
Finish with Mr. Henkel. Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ma'am, did you want to address that issue with the board? Yes.
Yeah. I'm only asking because if you can't get a valid liquor permit, obviously it loses value for you.
No, we would still just operate without the liquor license. So if we're unable to get in, we have not started that process yet because
Okay.
we don't currently own the property.
Right.
But if we are unable to, we will just continue without it.
Yeah, I know that there's only a limited number available in each city, and if there's none left, then,
Right.
you know, yeah. Okay, thank you.
We'll just
I'll
have,
ask you one, I didn't ask before, forgive me for this. What sort of improvements or whatever are you guys anticipating, if any?
so mainly just cosmetic. So painting, doing some floors. I know there's some plumbing things that need to be taken care of on the left side of the building, but that's the only major thing that we need to kind of address.
Any other questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of the use variance application, please step forward. Anyone wishing to oppose the application for the use variance, please step forward. Okay, I guess I'll close the public portion of the meeting. I did have a question for staff, and this is really digging into the weeds, but are parking, number of parking spaces governed by the square footage of the attending building or
Our parking requirements are split out by use type, so I would look into, and typically when you're not building a new or adding on to that existing building, the certificate of occupancy is really gonna drive how many they're really allowed to have present, so our it wouldn't impact, I typically wouldn't look at that for just a change
regardless
of
of whether
use.
we would grant this use variance, it's not going to alter the number of
Right,
spaces that would be necessary for this type of an event center.
right.
Okay, all right, thank you. That helps. That makes sense. It's grandfathered, I mean.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if the variance would disqualify the grandfathering. Anyway, any, what,
So, I mean, I'm in support of it. If we're looking at the purpose of the O1 office district, provide areas of, and I'm paraphrasing here, non-retail commercial uses, supporting community needs, within like small-scale developments. I mean, I think that, that fits perfectly fine, and as it's been pointed out, there's not really a lot of use for this particular property without significant redevelopment, of the structure and the area.
does everybody know where this is, this building is?
I've been in it.
I didn't realize 67 was when it was built. I thought it was much later than that, but
It was,
nice little setting down there.
like, they called it the Armco Girls
That's right. It's, yeah.
building that met there, yes.
I grew up by that neighborhood, and I always wondered what was in that building or was down there, but I never went.
I guess, I don't have a concern, there's not a turn lane into there, but events are normally from a time to a time. And, you know, the traffic density probably is greater at the beginning and at the end, but it's not that big of a building, and I don't know what the capacity is.
The only concern that I see would be an increase in the amount of U-turns, maybe illegal. I'm not sure what the traffic law is there at University, but I don't think that that's a big enough of a problem to
I think in Middletown, unless it's prohibited, it's allowed. I think that's the way the law reads.
Pretty much, yeah.
I think that's, as it should, as it should. Well, I mean, we've all seen this property, and I'm not sure that it's kind of like that property, the old dental office that we granted the use variance up on North Briel Boulevard. You get a property that's in such a unique location that you run out of users if you limit it to what the O1 in this case would allow. I mean, it's well, so with that,
In my professional opinion, that's the best use of that property. When it came on the market, I was hopeful something like that would be the case, and luckily it is. Looking at the use variance criteria, I don't see any here that we'd be up against to have a hard argument against. It maintains the character of the neighborhood. It's a unique property that's causing those problems. The applicant has nothing to do with the type of property it is. I mean, I think if you go through this list, I would be comfortable saying yes to all of those. And so I would move that we approve the use variance.
Second,
I do have a question. Are there any employees, I wonder, involved in this thing, or is it just on an occasional basis? You know, any people that get paid in that, or how do you maintain it when it's not occupied? Cleaning it or
I
whatever?
guess it kind of depends on, I've seen event centers where they have full-time staff, or where the user at the time has to provide their own help, or or the catering company provides. I guess it kind of depends on what setup the applicant would have.
Well, it's a church doing it, so I don't know if they're involved with any taxes or anything like that, I guess.
Yeah.
No, she said they were just involved in church-related events prior to this. Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Seconded, yeah.
If you call the roll.
Mr. Cash,
Yes.
Mr. Wanamaker,
Yes.
Mr. Gross,
Yes.
Mr. Evans,
Yes.
Mr. Mentel. Yes. And Mr. Heidenreich.
Yes, you have 6 yeses.
Okay, that ends the number of cases, or the cases that we have before the board. Any old or new business that needs to be discussed?
I do.
Okay.
Going back to training for you guys. We have Frost Brown Todd present with us, and just gonna probably schedule a working session with you, not on your regular meeting days. Are there any good days of the week, bad days of the week to stay away from? Any time in the next month or so that we can kind of get this scheduled?
Are these business hours, evening hours?
Probably evening, or maybe like a 4 o'clock, or somewhere where we're,
Yeah.
There with work.
yeah.
My only day that is unavailable is Monday.
For me, I would probably have to look at my schedule and let you know when I have some openings. I don't know, like off the dome, but the way that like my work schedule is, I normally work in the evenings, but I get off earlier on the days when I have the commission and board meetings, so it'd be a little awkward to shove it in there, but I can find some space to put it in.
Okay. I think it's pretty important that we have everybody present.
I agree. Any other days that are totally unavailable for you during the week? Anybody else?
My window of seeing that stuff is 24 hours.
know.
'Cause I
I'm
got
sorry,
grandkids all over the place.
Well,
But I understand not wanting to.
I don't know that we would want to bring Middletown staff in on a weekend. I'm retired, so it really makes no difference, but it does to these people.
I'm not inclined to have legal come in on a weekend. I understand. I hear you.
So,
I'm usually always very flexible.
so it looks, I'm not available on Monday, but it looks like everybody else's schedules are at least,
All right, I'll kind of look at some dates
Okay.
and maybe float that. And then going forward, whenever I send out an email or Casey sends out an email, please just respond to staff and legal only. Avoid the reply all as best you can. Just so we're avoiding that.
okay.
And
Thank
how long do they expect the
Yep.
actual training to entail? Is it
Say probably an hour.
just an hour?
Maybe a little bit longer if there's a lot of questions, but typically.
Okay, that's pretty quick. Okay, thank you.
Great.
Claire, you just said not to reply all.
Right. Because then
I
it
get reply alls.
becomes a meeting.
Huh? It does become a meeting.
Yep,
Just to set schedules?
yep.
Really?
I mean, it's not like, I don't think it's the biggest
kind of
deal.
procedural versus
but-
substantive. I can't,
But then it becomes a habit sometimes.
I know, well, I know, but I got Gmail and I don't know how to reply just to one person. I don't know if everybody's getting my.
I'll help you, Dave.
Thank you, help me, will you?
Just so you know, there's one arrow that's
Yeah.
reply user.
Oh, okay.
2 or 3 arrows is reply all.
Oh, well, then I'm okay, because I've only used the one arrow.
I think you replied, just replied.
Yeah, okay, good, thank you. I agree that the training is very beneficial. Because we need to know what our jurisdiction is, and
Yep.
I agree. Any other new business?
Casey Dean, our new zoning administrator, is sitting here with me. She will not be here for the May meeting, but it looks like, I think we're gonna switch roles for the June meeting. She'll sit here, I'll sit here back there. Kind of observe her, help her through this, and then eventually she will be taking over BZA, so that's what I have for you.
Good. Good. Any other new business?
That's it for me.
Any old business? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you.
I'll second.
I don't think do we take rolls? I don't think we take rolls on that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Oral affirmative.
State your name.